Elizabeth's battle with E. coli. On Wednesday, April 4th, she was happy and healthy just like any other kid. By Friday, she wasn't feeling well enough to play, and she was acting quite lethargic. She progressively got weaker and acted like she had the flu or a bug going around. But after driving through the night, Sunday, April 8th, we arrived at Grandma and Grandpa's early Monday morning. That afternoon, we took her to the urgent care clinic in Pleasant Hill. From there, she was sent to the ER to get hooked up to an IV because she was dehydrated. When the ER tested her blood, they found HUS, which is a product of E. coli. No one knew just how bad it was or how long it would take to recover. On Tuesday, dialysis was started to take the place of her kidneys. Andrew also started to show some signs of the same symptoms that Elizabeth had, so on Wednesday he was admitted to the hospital. He didn't have E. coli, so his stay was only a few days. He most likely was jealous of all the attention his sister was getting. Elizabeth's consistent request was for a cup. She desperately wanted something to drink but couldn't have liquid. She finally was allowed to have 4 ounces in a day, and a popsicle never tasted so good. She had several blood transfusions because her platelet count and red blood cells were extremely low. Tuesday around 12:30, she completely stopped breathing at night. The nurses rushed in and hooked her up to a breathing machine. During our long stay in the hospital, Andrew explored the halls with a walker brought from the church, and he brought lots of smiles to everybody. Some of our church families helped out in the day by taking Andrew. On Friday, April 20th, they tried to remove the breathing machine, but her throat had swollen, and she couldn't get enough air on her own. They were forced to put the machine back in and wait until the swelling had gone down. She especially enjoyed being able to sit in a chair with Mom or Dad and rock. On Saturday, April 21st, we had the first good report about Elizabeth's blood cells. Her red blood cells and platelet count had increased. On Sunday, they were able to take out the breathing machine and to let her breathe on her own. Tuesday, April 24th was a very encouraging day. They took her off dialysis, and they intended for her to stay off for 24 hours. But to their surprise, her kidneys did so well, she never went back onto dialysis. She had her smile back and her little ornery streak, and she was good to go. She now enjoyed taking trips around the hospital with the nurses and walking with physical therapy. She was made to feel like she was a little princess. On April 29th, we celebrated Andrew's birthday. And I'm not sure who had more fun, Elizabeth or Andrew. It might have been Grandpa and Grandma. By Monday, April 30th, she was strong enough to go to the regular pediatric unit and play in the playroom. They had many toys for her to play with, and it was hard to pull her away, especially when it was time for bed. Tuesday, May 1st, they disconnected all of her lines and let her go. She still had tubes coming out of her, so they could hook her back up if they needed, but there was no more IV pole to push around. Wednesday, May 2nd, she was moved from the pediatric ICU to the regular peds floor, And 2 days later, on Friday, she came home. At that point, she had a nurse come every day to check on her, to check her blood pressure and blood sugars. Grandma began to spoil her with all the things she missed while in the hospital. A trip to the zoo, an Easter egg hunt, a birthday party, and much more.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Elizabeth. Happy birthday to you.
She's now doing just fine, and we're all so thankful for the Lord's goodness and grace through this experience.